Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to briefly contribute towards the motion that is before us, and in particular on the committee's recommendation 2 and 3. Mr. Speaker, sir, at the outset, I wish to thank all government and non-government organizations that made valuable contribution and supported the ratification of the ILO Convention 190. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Employment Relations Act 2007 provides mechanism to deal with violence and harassment in the workplaces, including sexual harassment, where workers have the right to raise employment grievances for discrimination, disadvantage, and dismissal. Mr. Speaker, said the Employment Relations Act provides for mechanism to ensure that these grievances at workplace are dealt with in accordance with individual contract using Schedule 4 of the Act, which outlines the process and standard procedures on settlement of employment grievances. The Speaker said the Employment Relations Act also provides clear mechanism and procedures in referring the grievances to the Ministry, which is dealt through the mediation services. Any worker, Mr. Speaker said, any worker that has his or her grievances referred to the tribunal has the right to request for legal representation from the Ministry, which is free of cost to the worker. Mr. Speaker said, the proactive arm of the Ministry through the labour inspection system is equipped with the necessary tools to deal with employment grievances and promote good faith employment relations at all workplaces. Mr. Speaker said, on the recommendation 2 and 3, as I mentioned earlier on, of the committee, I wish to state that the Employment Relations Act is currently undergoing review, where we will consider to broaden the definition of harassment that will be in line with the Convention 190. Mr. Speaker, as mentioned earlier on by Honourable Attorney General, if we approve the ratification and submit these all necessary documents to ILO, Mr. Speaker said, we may be the first country to ratify the ILO Violence and Harassment Convention 2019. Mr. Speaker said, government have stated numerous times in the House that the Fijian Constitution and our national laws and policies make it easy for us to ratify conventions like this. And this is one example, Mr. Speaker said. The Honourable Prime Minister has stated publicly a number of times that any form of violence, physical or sexual, especially against women, in any place will not be condoned. Mr. Speaker said, the committee's recommendation number 4 is noted, and I once again would like to thank the Standing Committee and urge all members to support the motion before the House, that is for Fiji to ratify the ILO Violence and Harassment Convention 2019. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I thank the Honourable Minister for his statement. The Honourable Pio Tikondondua, you have the floor.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to say a few words with regards to the motion.